Right, guys. Welcome back to the Physique Academy podcast. This is the podcast where we talk all things training, nutrition, and lifestyle. Today's guest is one of our coaches. He's one of our most consistent content creators within the brand. He won the Summer Shred this year. A lot of transformations under his belt, a lot of wisdom that he talks about on social media. It's Danny Smith, everybody. Yes, brother. What we saying? How we doing?
I'm good, mate. How are you?
Good. Let's dive in, mate. So, with these podcasts, we're always trying to touch on some different things. Episode 17 we're up to now. Obviously, I want people to understand you, your background, your mindset, what it's taken for you to become the coach that you are. So, we're going to start off, mate, with going back when you first started training, bro. You've been training over 10 years, right?
Yes, 10 years to the year, mate. 15 I started. But before we dive in, can I just say that intro was good?
Thank you.
I watched the one with Harry this morning, which was pretty early on, wasn't it? You've improved a lot, mate.
Oh, thank you, mate.
It shows consistency pays off in any area.
It does it? Yeah, mate. Yeah. Like the first one's always daunting, when like people don't see the behind the scenes of these podcasts. You only see the camera angles, but you don't see we've got a videographer sat behind the screen that's making notes. Sometimes some editors sat in the room as well. So it is. It can be quite daunting when if you've never done like a podcast before. But it's like anything building muscle, bro. Repetition builds it.
Smooth criminal, mate.
That's what we aim for. That's what we aim for, and hopefully we can continue it on. For the foreseeable, as long as we've got enough guests, that's the thing we need. Like, and especially locally, we have got a podcast next month with like Terence coming over from Client Success and like 2 client ambassadors for the Loughborough or London Summit. It's in Loughborough, but I just call it the London Summit, which should be good. And we're going to be going down to Manchester, a bit of a change of location for that one. But it's not about me, mate. It's not about the podcast. Today's all about you, brother. But I appreciate that anyway. So when you first started training, talk me back to the beginning. What drew you to fitness as a whole? Like, because at 15, I got serious about it at a similar age. I was probably 12 or 13. When I started doing like a few push-ups, a couple of sit-ups before school, trying to get six-pack abs, you know how it is, bro. Yeah, for the ladies. But when you get more into it at 15, I think, I don't know, is it like a self-esteem thing? Is it like body dysmorphia? I don't know. What's your sort of reasoning for getting into the gym at that age?
Yeah, you know what? For me, I was just fucking skinny, mate.
Same as me.
Pretty tall, pretty lanky. I was skinny, and at that age, the biggest inspiration, it was the Rocky movies, bro.
Bro, we're actually like it's like comparison, bro. Yeah, literally the same, bro. Like Rocky 4, those training montages.
Well, I mean, it impacts the whole world at the time. Do you know what I mean? But like as a teenager, just seeing sort of this stereotypical masculine man. You got to be in shape, have the mental strength. You just look up to it. You want to be like that. Do you know what I mean? And the first step is obviously getting into the gym, actually trying to get a little bit strong. And since then, that mentality has been the same. Like, I just think it's my duty as a man to fucking work out. I cannot imagine a world where I'm super skinny or super fat. It's just impossible for me to do that.
I think your head would fall off. Like you'd be like super depressed if that was the case.
It's not, I can't even think about that as a possibility because I just think it's so strong. It's strongly integrated into me now that I'm a man. I have to be physically strong.
It's like the ancient times of a man, like I know the buzzword of Andrew Tate sparks a lot of controversy, and that's more like its own topic around, around like men should take care of the women and also that sort of stuff. But it also relates to like, as a man, you should be like strong. Like when you talk back to like the Egyptians and stuff, how they made the pyramids and things like that, they must have had some next level like brute strength just from moving every single day, so I think it goes back to that. It's like that old school mentality of like, I'm a man, I need to be strong, can't be wimpy as shit.
Yeah, mate, it's responsibility, and for me it's just in relation to life, right? This is getting pretty deep straight away, but I've got a really good recent example, right, which is my neighbor. She is like in her 80s, some feeble old woman. Okay.
Yeah.
And she had this heavy piece of furniture she needed to take from upstairs to downstairs. She can't do that by herself, right? She has sons. They're not in shape. They can't even do it. So she came around, she asked me to do it. And imagine having to tell her, I can't do it. Right. And then the week after, something in the garden, she had like this bench, and she asked me to come around and move it, put it into position for her, because she know I'd be capable to do it. And I just can't imagine sitting there and saying like, no, I can't do that. Just because of a physical limitation. And that's why I train. I don't ever want to be physically limited in anything, right? I want to be able to go on hikes with my mates, play a bit of paddle. I want to be able to help the old lady next door. I want to be able to do everything and not have to say no, or not have to quit or give up or anything. So that, that's why I train ultimately, for fucking life quality.
And longevity.
Everything. Just to fucking maximize life.
Yeah.
How can you maximize life if you're obese? You can't. How can you maximize life if you're weak as piss? You just can't. So you've got to be all round. Fairly strong, fairly fit, look pretty good for the self-confidence, and that's it.
Do you think if you just landed on the earth tomorrow obese, you'd have enough faith and confidence in yourself to just to lose it all and be basically get to the point of where you're at now, no matter how long it takes?
You know what? That's a good question, because I've been chubby. I've had a little bit of fluff on me, but I haven't been obese. So it's difficult for me to say that, because I think when you get obese, basic movement, like walking, becomes a lot more difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Just because you're carrying so much excess weight, everything's just working against you. I'd like to say, yeah, because regardless, I'd have to get in shape.
Well, if you're in the mindset of a coach.
It'd be tough.
Yeah. Yeah. I think as well, like guys that have that much weight to lose, it's like standing at the bottom of a mountain, bro, like going up Everest or Ben Nevis. It's a long journey to look up to, innit? Yep. And that's why with like coaching and setting targets, with some of the overweight guys, they might want to know like what the long-term goal is, like what you envision in your mind of how much does this person realistically need to lose. Is it going to take a year? Is it going to take over a year? Is it going to take 2 years? And it's always good to, I think, for me personally, work in like smaller milestones to acknowledge and recognize. If I had someone that came on, I said, right, mate, yeah, you're going to need to lose 30 to 40 kilo. He's going to be like, well, he might sort of already know that in his mind, but it already is going to be on the back foot and think, fucking hell, like it's a long journey ahead. But it's not impossible. Like, I've got a guy that I've worked with for a while called Fardad from America, and he's lost like 35 pounds, not even really trained. Once I've worked with him for 6 months, and all that we've done is focused on his step target, which goes to show, from like an expenditure point of view, how important that actually is as opposed to physical activity. Like on a side note, people think losing weight is a lot of the time working out, but what constitutes to expenditure more so is your NEAT, isn't it, rather than your physical activity. But yeah, he's literally just focused on hitting 10,000 plus steps and hitting his deficit target, and that's all. And we've only just started now to implement like one full body session a week. But I think people, when they think of like a coaching program, they just have that automatic expectancy, to think, oh, they're going to have to train 3, 4, 5 days a week, even if they are like overweight and obese.
Yeah, well, so what's his name? Sorry. Fardad. So he's carrying a weighted vest on him at the moment. Right. So going back to when I was saying, let's say, I don't know his body composition, but let's say if you're obese, you're carrying a weighted vest, right? It's not the same as me just walking around. So you kind of are doing a little bit of a workout in a way. Everything just becomes harder. So shout out to him, he's absolutely smashed it. Well done. But with these longer journeys, the time's going to pass anyway. It don't fucking matter how long it's going to take. Get it off. It's not good for you. Do you know what I mean? It's unnecessary fat that it's probably going to give you health consequences in 10, 15 years, right? And your life's going to be shit. It just is. So get it off. It doesn't matter whether it's going to take 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. Commit and get rid of it, right? And this is another thing. Guys will come on the program with expectations or preferences. And to be honest, I hate preferences. Because what's your preference? Doing things this way or getting the fucking result? Do you know what I mean? Like, if I was a client, I'd come into the program with the mindset of, I don't care, whatever it's going to take, I'll do it. You just tell me, right? I've come to you for a reason. I've seen the results. I've seen the proof. So I'm coming to you. You just tell me what to do and I'll do it. It doesn't matter how many days a week I need to train, for how long, or what style, or what foods I need to eat. I'm just going to do it.
Why do you think people like don't have that same sort of mindset though coming into the program? You know, they'll get like 2 weeks in, they're already, you know, like I've already missed 1 or 2 sessions. I don't feel like I'm up to the challenge. You know, it's too much. I can't commit. I can't cope with this, blah, blah, blah. What is holding men back from having that same sort of mentality and mindset that you've just described?
I think with men, there's a couple of things going on, right? I think instinctively, we all think we're in better shape than we are. We think we've got more muscle and less body fat, and we think we know the answer when we probably don't. So a little bit of ego. And I think there's a lot of self-doubt there as well, right? And a lot of ingrown habits that have been there for so long, or a certain way of thinking, it's been there for so long that it's just stubborn. It's not even conscious. They probably don't even realize it, right?
Like autopiloting it.
Exactly, right? But if you just become an open book, let any sort of ego go, and just listen to the person, you'll be sound. You'll get the job done. And my most successful clients have been the exact same way. That's the mindset they've had. Right? They've just come on board. They said, "You're the guy. Tell me what I need to do."
It's like it's ingrained within, like it comes down to, it's more habitual, that, innit? I sort of see, you know, training and just like healthy lifestyle. The analogy that I use with clients is it's just like brushing your teeth in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, like guys will initially, when they first start the program, they may have to focus and think, right, you know, that's a box that I need to try and tick. And when we're talking of time management, we can go into that in a little bit. But you know, once you've ingrained it as part of your lifestyle and routine, it's just like brushing your teeth. You know, unless you're a wrong-un, you won't get up in the morning and walk out of the house to work without brushing your teeth, because since a toddler, that's what you've been taught to do.
Yeah.
So if again, it's going to be hardest in the initial stages, which is why in the first few weeks of the program, that's when it's like the most important, the most pivotal for like checking in on people as a coach. But then once you've sort of got past that, and you know, you see it as like a non-negotiable, that box that needs to be ticked in your day, then it just becomes a lot easier. Again, you're taking the thought process and like the emotions and the feelings towards it away from it. It's just a case of, this is what I need to do, and you just get it done no matter what. But anyway, bro, going back to, I know we've sort of already gone into a little bit of like coaching stuff, mate, straight off the bat. Boom. We're going to talk about, bro, like a little bit from, because you were an in-person PT starting out when you first started, right? How old were you when you did like your PT qual?
So I was 20.
20. And you worked at Pure Gym for a few years, was it?
Yeah, Pure Gym.
And what were the biggest differences like coming into the online space that you noticed? I've sort of given a little bit of like my opinion on this before, but your biggest differentiator, you know, in terms of like the results, the service that online provides versus, you know, actually being in person in the gym one-to-one with someone, what's the difference?
It's 2 different jobs. It's a completely different job. So in-person personal training, you know, you can get good results. It's good for a specific purpose, right? But if you're talking about what we do, online coaching is miles ahead. Right, so in-person personal training is great for beginners who won't show up to the gym otherwise. They have to have someone there, like an appointment, that you're letting down if you don't turn up, right? So actually just forcing you to go to the gym, but also, of course, like learning movements, right? Performing them correctly, and potentially learning the skill of intensity, right? If you don't ever have someone to show you how to train hard, then you might just never end up pushing yourself to that level. Right, but as a 360 all-encompassing approach, online coaching is miles ahead, right? Because you're taking a look at the full picture, right? Most guys are already going to the gym, right? You don't need us there holding your hand, making small talk between conversations. That's just bullshit, Right? Most of the time it's fucking bullshit.
A lot of the time as a PT, from my own experience as well, it's, you know, as a sociable person, it's like you have to fill the gaps. You know, you don't just want to stand there in silence, because then you'll feel like you're not providing enough service for that individual. But then, you know, at the end of the day, they're paying you to train them. You know, they're not paying you for a chat. So it's finding that balance, because I've seen PTs that are too much on the talking side and not actually really fucking doing anything, and not actually teaching them intensity. And those are most likely, by the way, the PTs that are more out of shape, that do just know how to work the mouth. But then I've also seen it on the flip side, where it's maybe there's not enough social aspect there, you know, which I think ties into like what makes a good coach and what makes a like not so good coach, is the ability to not only like walk the walk, talk the talk, but be able to empathize and understand and sympathize with people as well.
Yeah, I mean, within personal training, there is that sort of there's a lot of small talk, right? And to be honest with you, it kind of depends what the person wants. So I know for a fact I had some clients who, they weren't really bothered too much about getting in the best shape ever, but they did want someone there completely out of their circle to just go to the gym with and talk shit, you know, talk about the day and just let off some steam. And that was fine for them. So with any sort of service, it does come down to what that person wants. We're in a service industry at the end of the day. We're there to serve that person and help them achieve their goal and get what they want out of it, right? But if we're talking about getting men in fucking good shape, what we do is beyond anything else. Absolutely.
I agree, bro. I agree. Like you say, for me anyway, I just like to try and encompass a mix of both. Or when I was a one-to-one PT, you know, enough intensity and execution for what they're actually doing, but then being actually able to speak to people. Because I think, like, if I was to get a coach, you know, the first thing for me would be like, I respect this person's lifestyle, their mindset. I actually want to look like that person. But then I'd be lying if I said, you know, if they had a personality of a wet lettuce, then I probably wouldn't work with them for very long, because you know, there's not that common ground or relatability, which I think is quite important in coaching online as well.
Bro, that's half the fucking industry. So many boring cunts out there, right? And I was kind of reflecting, to be honest, on, you know, how deep into a specific fitness thing do you want to go? Like marathons, high rocks, powerlifting, bodybuilding. For me, I'm not a professional athlete. I haven't ever been, right? So I just think it's sidetracking me to go all in to that one thing, right? My job is to be a coach. So my day-to-day is focused around being the best coach that I can possibly be, right? It's not being the best high rocks athlete that you can be or the best marathon runner that you can be, right? That's just bollocks for me at this stage, right? And I think a lot of people go way too far into it and just become a boring cunt and forget why they actually started in the first place. It was to live a fucking better life. That's what I was saying before. The reason I train is to have a higher quality of life. Simple as that, right? Be strong, be fit, never be physically limited. Look good, have confidence. Simple as that, really. Yes, every now and then it is great to dedicate yourself, take yourself out of your comfort zone, challenge yourself, push yourself out of the comfort zone, achieve something amazing like Charlie, for example, doing the 127 miler.
Yeah, shout out Charlie.
Fucking sick. But yeah, I think that should be an occasional thing, right? And especially for most of the people that we work with, you know, they own businesses, the managers, they work in trades. They don't need to be going off doing these crazy side missions.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time it can overwhelm them, right? When in reality, they just need to find a good lifestyle balance, right? And they don't need to give up weekend dates with the wife, right? Or just being the boring bastard on a lad's night out, you know, every now and then, maybe, yeah, but you've got to work it in, do you know what I mean? And actually live a fucking good, happy life.
Yeah, it is. It's easy enough to work in, bro. But again, it's just plain old excuses. I had a guy recently that he's like he's a closer, so he's like a sales guy, but he works all online and he's smashing it, killing it. Like, but he showed me his calendar. You know, he was like, I'm really busy, blah blah blah. And he was really busy. He was working like 12, 14-hour days. Yeah. And, you know, when you've got other responsibilities, don't get me wrong, it's hard. That is hard, but then he wanted to leave the program because he said, it's just not a right time in my life. I said, yeah, but bro, is this ever going to actually settle down? When is there going to be a right time in your life? And again, this is a guy that I've got along with really well, but after a few phone calls of me, reining things back, changing things in his program to work around his lifestyle, at the end of the day, I'm just wasting my time at that point because, you've said you're going to commit, I've worked and adapted things to change around your lifestyle, and then you've still not been able, effectively just not being able to hack it pretty much.
Yeah, it's bullshit. It's bullshit because there's always going to be busy, stressful periods. If you can only ever do it when it's fucking easy and convenient, the minute something pops up, what you're going to do, rebound and get out of shape.
That's what I mean. It's like, there's no sustainability in that whatsoever, bro. And it actually really riles me up because I actually said to him, I said, bro, I bet you any amount of money, if we got in touch in a year's time, you'll be in the same place. Or we did not like that.
Mate, it's true though. People don't like the truth. And you know what? Some people might think this is naive, but you can tell me any scenario, and I will tell you, I will still be in shape in that scenario. It don't matter, right? How busy or stressed I am, what happens to me. It's that important to me. It's that integral to me as a person. It's just not a possibility.
No, it's straight down to priority, bro. But yeah. Anyway, I wanted to go on to your summer shred winner, bro. Obviously, congratulations for that. I know what it's like. I had mine in 2020, 2023, Ashley Alford, that won the challenge. But I wanted to go over a bit of similar to what we did this morning on our meeting, a bit of a case study about him, if you can remember some of the specific details. Because again, I've had Jordan Buff, who was Harry's, who in 2022, the year before mine. Yep. He won the summer shred, and he sort of gave his experience and what the program basically looked like, in a sort of transformation or challenge versus maybe a little bit more sustainable, because it's a challenge at the end of the day. It's going to be a little bit more intense, isn't it, than maybe if we're on board in just the typical Joe Schmuck. So what was his name, sorry?
Lawrence. So Lawrence, shout out Lawrence, mate. Fucking sick guy, absolute killer, absolute savage. He lost just over 27 kilos in the 16 weeks. Insane.
That's a lot of weight,
right?
16 weeks.
And especially what we were saying before, when you come on board and you do have a bit of a belly on you, everything's harder, right? So fucking well done, mate. Do you know what I mean? And Lawrence, it's all credit down to his mindset at the end of the day. He came on board and he said, straight-faced, we're going to win. Right? And you could just see he meant it.
Manifestation.
Yeah, exactly. And, he set the intention and he followed through. There were challenges, physically, emotionally, mentally. But so what? So what? We're going to fucking get the job done. Right? And Lawrence has the mentality of more work is better. I'm going to outwork everyone, which we've actually been working together on lately, okay? Because he's still got a little bit to lose before he actually finishes phase one, Even though he's lost over 27 kilos, won the challenge, he's not done yet. He's not six-pack shredded, the point where we want to get to him. So, yeah, at this point, more work isn't better, right? He's a fucking workhorse. He was doing 3 training sessions a day, right? He was doing a run in the morning, he was doing CrossFit, and then a Gold's Gym bodybuilding session, right? Training next to Arnie. And,
so literally you've got a hypertrophy session, a cardio, and a hit.
Yeah, and this is what he wanted. Right. Not necessarily,
this isn't the most necessarily you what he just gave you his questionnaire and you're like, right, we're doing this 3 times a day.
Exactly. This is what he enjoys, right? He loves it. Without that, he wouldn't have got the result and he would have not enjoyed it as much, right? So, he dedicated himself entirely, right? But at this point now, taking him from where he is right now to the end of phase one to achieve that 10, 12% body fat, 6-pack physique, it's about precision, right? It's not just about doing more work now. That's not the answer. Mate, you're active enough. It's about controlling your nutrition and being consistent and patient, right? We're in a deficit, we're losing. We've just got to stay patient now and we've got to keep adhering to the program. It's not going to happen overnight. Of course not. But we just got to keep at it. keep on that mission. And there's always going to be doubts. There's always going to be things that sidetrack you, things that little voices in your head, whether it's your own voice or, you know, friends, family, just chatting shit.
Getting skinny.
Yeah, there's always going to be something trying to stop you, but you started on that mission, so fucking finish it. Be a man of your word.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? This goes out to every single client on the program. You joined to get in fucking sick shape, so don't leave until you do it.
Yeah, if you've committed on week 1 when your motivation is here, then, you know, you have to uphold that standard that you've already set for yourself, because your motivation is going to come to here, then back up again. It's your motivation's on a radar up and down like this, but once you build that discipline, again, once you've made that commitment, you know, like if that was me and I'd say like committed to a challenge like that, and I didn't sort of see it through anyway, even if I didn't win the challenge, I would see myself as a failure. Even if I'd lost a good amount of weight or whatever, like I'd just see myself as a failure, or I'd be embarrassed with myself for not following through to my word. Again, going back to like that sort of stoic mindset as a man, if you say you're going to do something, you do it.
Yeah, it's simple as that. Be a man of your word.
And it's good that, you know, like you're honest and truthful as a coach, because there might be some people that, you know, like once they got to the end of the challenge, right, we've done the challenge now, mate, we can go into phase 2, let's focus on the build. But he might have thought that like he'd won the challenge, so he thought, oh, you know, it's time to reverse diet now. But you've turned around and said, no, like we've still got a little bit more to lose. You've won the challenge, but you've not got to the standard that we still aim for as an end of phase 1, which should showcase a lot of the clients that maybe want to cut corners and start that second phase a little bit too early, the importance of why they need to come into that second phase.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, did you join the program to, you know, have an okay physique? No. You joined because you've seen the results online, on the Instagram, on the website. Everyone who's at Physique Academy just seems to be fucking shredded, right? You joined to also be on that board, you know? So I don't know why people are in a rush to go into phase 2 and reverse out of that diet. But at the end of the day, it's important you get to that body composition. That's what matters the most, right? Not your weight or anything like that. It's are you lean enough? Are you in the shape of your life? That's what we do. We get people in the best shape of their life. If you're not, then we keep fucking going. You're not just stopping because you feel like it. Do you know what I mean? Like, you've probably tried to lose weight multiple times. Every new year, you say you're going to lose some weight. You might lose a little bit, but you've not got that self-accountability to go all the way, get to 10% and just fucking live the dream, right? Six-pack shredded. So when you come to us, it's our mission to make it as hard as possible to quit and follow through with it and get it done. Right? That's why you come to us. I think the accountability is the biggest thing. Oh yeah,
100%. Any client survey that comes through after 6 months, a lot of the time it's the checking in and the accountability that they receive at that point. You know, like there's bits of knowledge, you know, like around certain habits like sleep and supplementation and, you know, things that, you know, we help improve clients on. But the main thing is just showing up every single week to check in so they can see that if they're on track, if they can get reassured. And again, you know, they've got that roadmap in place that's going to allow them to get to where they need to be, but like have that long-term sustainability, you know, in the lifestyle. So it's not just the case of, like you say, you know, they get down to a certain body fat percentage, but don't know how to come out of it. And then come New Year, they're in the same position again. It swings and roundabouts, bro, smoke and mirrors. But going back to the summer shred winner, so he was obviously doing a lot of expenditure. Was he doing like a lot of steps as well?
Yeah, so his steps were mainly running. Just because, you know, of time commitment. You know, he's not a professional athlete, so training 3 times a day and then working, you only got so much time in the day, right? So he's a music producer, so a lot of the time is spent sat down there, and that's why outside of work he was just as active as possible. He would do the morning run, work. On his lunch he'd go and do a CrossFit class, work, and then obviously afterwards he'd do a bit of a bodybuilding session.
And with the amount of expenditure that he was doing throughout the week, how many calories was he on?
So he you know what, because his expenditure is so high, he was eating a fair amount, around 2.6k calories. But it's something we're still actively working on, right? Some days will be higher, right? He'll have a moment where he'll go and have some beers, he'll cave in, right? And then he'll have a bit of a overly restrictive day. And this is something we're still actively working on to develop that healthier relationship with the food, right? Because at the end of the day, if someone comes on board who has 30 kilograms to lose, right? You have a belly, something's happened for you to get that in the first place, right? That's been accumulated over months and years, right? Of bad habits, a bad relationship with food, a bad relationship with alcohol, with stress, whatever it is. And it's not gonna correct itself overnight. And I tell people, our phase one is just reversing all the shit that you came to us with. Mm-hmm. We're just getting you to the start point, you know, the new set point of a healthy lifestyle, a healthy mindset, healthy habits. Now we can actually get in the best shape of your life, right? So yeah, you know, the more shit that you come to us with, the longer it's going to take to reverse it. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you know that's like that all or nothing mentality though for a lot of guys, you know, coming in so again, with that expectation, these sometimes think they can overcommit as well, and they quickly realize that they can't, which can be tough sometimes as a coach to distinguish, you know, are they just chatting shit here because they're motivated, or can they actually commit to that? But like you say, it's to reverse a lot of the bad shit and habits with like food and just the relationships with fitness overall. But as that sort of mindset, like that, I find that sometimes with guys quite hard to reverse when they think of something as all or nothing. Like if they miss one of the sessions in the week, all of a sudden then it's like, then they might just turn to think that the week's ruined because they've missed like that one session, when really it's just like, I call it like one drop stitch in the program's tapestry, because it's just like, like they might have been consistent 90%, 95% of the week. Yes, they've still got the opportunity to see results, even if they've just like slacked or messed up on one day. But people just have it embedded. It's like that yo-yo cycle of do a few days, mess up, shit, you know, start again next week, do a few days the next week, mess up, shit, start the next week. And that's why they don't see any results.
Absolutely. And that's why, you know, a smart plan is important, because really you shouldn't be messing up or having a bad day because it's planned beforehand. You know, you've got a sustainable diet. You love the diet. So there are no fucking bad days. Do you know what I mean? That's when you've been overly restrictive, when guys have gone 0 to 100 and you can't sustain that, right? So yeah, it's difficult. I mean, with Lawrence, there was a challenge. There was a lot of money at stake. So it's kind of like, yeah, let's fucking win it. Yeah, let's get the bag. Yeah, do you know what I mean? Get the bag. But outside of that, I wouldn't recommend it. You know, I'd recommend to half the sessions, let's use that extra time for meal prep to set you up there, right? Take some stress off your plate, right? And you'll actually get better results then. Yeah, so a lot of the time, you know, if someone comes on board and they're out of shape, they want to train 6 days a week, I'm saying no. You're training 3 or 4, and you're going to use those extra 2 days to meal prep.
Or for steps.
Yeah, again, exactly. Get some extra sleep, finish some work off that's stressing you out and you're having to stay up till midnight to do.
It's all about the variables, isn't it? You know, like you've got like your training, which is one pillar. You've got your steps as one pillar. Your cardio is one pillar, then like, you know, your nutrition or food prepping is another pillar. When we're talking about time as well, or time management, you know, so like, again, people just think it's all training, but you've got these other aspects to try and align and keep balanced as well. For guys that maybe struggle with a little bit of stress, whether it be with like work responsibilities, then they've got, you know, obviously everything within the program to think about, not to overwhelm them. Have you ever heard of the Eisenhower matrix?
Maybe it does ring a bell, but I couldn't tell you what it is.
It's like a planning tool, and it's really simple. I just use it in my diary each day. It's basically just like you can just create a cross. You've got like 4 different boxes. You've got urgent, important, not important, urgent, not important, not urgent, not urgent, important. And then if you just classify, you know, for like each day or for the following day, what it is you need to do for that day. You could just need to like delegate something to a family member or to a work colleague or somewhere else. But then, you know, it just gives you a clearer head for what it is you can actually prioritize in that day and what it is you need to do, maybe for the week or maybe just for that day as a whole.
Bro, I thought I invented that.
Really?
I use that all the time, and I tell that to people, and I had no idea who this imposter is who's claiming that it's invented.
Yeah, bro. Yeah, I used to do it when I was at university, because I went through a period when I was like in like a full-time role, then I was doing like my dissertation and stuff. And bro, like, as someone that like thinks a lot all the time anyway, just has like things circling around my head, I just needed that to try and have that clear headspace, you know. But yeah, that really helps with stress management, I find, for guys that are just really busy with work, but then they need to think, right, I need to prep my food, and, you know, I need to get my 10k steps, I need to take the dog out on a walk, I need to look after the kid. Again, you know, once you just categorize it, it just helps a lot. There was something I was going to say as well about stress management, but I can't remember what I was going to say now.
I use that, so I have that on my Trello board as a checklist: urgent, non-urgent, important, non-important. I must have seen it from this guy Eisenhower, isn't it?
Eisenhower Matrix.
I must have seen it like ages ago and just not knowing the name of it.
Yeah.
But I use it all the time, every day myself, and I do tell clients to do it as well, because just getting all that mental clutter in your head down on a piece of paper or in your notes, and then organizing it just makes you feel a million times better already, without even actually actively working on the list.
I know, yeah. It's literally just peace of mind, bro, because it's like, say if I'm thinking of something that I need to create for content, I'll have it in my head, and then it's like I quickly need to get my notes out. Otherwise, like, I'll feel as though I'm going to forget it, and then it won't end up happening. So it's like, sometimes if you've just got it all around your head, it's like you don't know what thing to focus on and start, and then again, you're just elevating your cortisol and stressing yourself out unnecessarily.
Yeah,
really.
I've heard that, you know, a lot of people will try and attack the biggest thing first, but to be honest, I work the opposite. So I just go for the quick, easy wins. Right, and I can tick things off. It makes me feel good. I get a bit of a dopamine release, and then I want to do the other stuff. You know, I'm on a roll then.
Yeah, the biggest things are like the longer ones as well to tick off.
Yeah,
well.
So I just build that momentum with quick, easy shit that I can get off my plate, and then I'm ready to attack that big thing.
Do you do anything else for stress management, like breath work, journaling, which is basically sort of what that's basically what the Eisenhower Matrix is. It's journaling in a way, you know, because you're putting things down on paper. But
not consistently. No. You know, it's not something that I do all the time, but that's because I'm not stressed out all the time. And I think with those sort of things, I use it as a reactive tool rather than proactive. I'm not like trying to get ahead of the stress using it. Stress is a weird one. I think stress is one of the biggest things that affects our clients, or at least the clients that I have. That's a pattern I've noticed is stress, right? Because they have high stress jobs, busy jobs, there's a lot of responsibilities, and it works against you. You know, if your cortisol is through the roof, then you also want to get in the best shape of your life. It's not setting you up to be in the best position, but if it's your job, it's your job at the end of the day. So what we have to do is learn how to cope with it better and really prioritize recharging. You know, getting out in nature, shutting off, going for phoneless walks, just allowing yourself to top your battery up. You know, I always compare it to an iPhone. If your iPhone's always on 10% battery, it's not going to work the best it can. It's not going to operate at its full capacity. You need to fucking charge it up. It's the same as the human body or the mind, the brain.
I think people overcomplicate. If we're thinking of like people trying to take shortcuts or thinking of like the next best thing that's going to, you know, help them lose weight or stay on track, you know, people think about a lot of like things they can implement supplementation wise, but a lot of the time it's just they don't nail the basics. Sleep, research has shown like that is the biggest tool asset that you need to prioritize in terms of recovery, but a lot of us just don't prioritize it enough. But I think that's like the top of the onion. Once you start to peel back the layers, like we're talking about stress, you know, someone that's more stressed won't be getting enough sleep because they've got too many thoughts going around their head and they're not putting things down on paper. Then, you know, you start to like narrow it down, then peel back the layers of the onion, and but like that's the overarching thing, you know, that they might not just be getting enough sleep, which is then why they're running on 10% throughout the day and they're starting to miss training sessions, and then it's like a domino effect. It just starts from that one thing.
It's a cycle. Isn't it? Like if you're stressed out, you struggle to go to sleep, you're more stressed out. Yeah. And then it just goes back and forth.
I do that all the time, bro. Like I say, like if I've been working a little bit later, and say I'm only going to get like less than 7 hours sleep at that point. Close my eyes, and then I'm like, right, I'm only going to get less than 7 hours sleep, so I need to get to sleep fast. And then my stress is like up here, bro. Yeah. And then I'm end up awake like through the roof. And but blood pressure spiked and everything. I end up staying awake for like another hour, bro, just because I can't get to sleep. Oh gosh. Is there any other sort of challenges that you think, like you've got a bit of wisdom on that you think could help clients on the program? Do you have a lot of guys that struggle with hunger? Because we spoke about this morning on this morning's meeting. I didn't actually say anything. I was just sort of listening to what everyone had to say. And actually, like, again, there's no right answer. I agreed with what everyone had to say around like intermittent fasting protocols. Like Adam would say that, you know, some guys would, if they train first thing in the morning, they'd have like a protein shake first thing and then go and train. So then Felix said, you know, he would promote more like intermittent fasting. So like if someone was having like quite a lot of hunger in the program, would you utilize any of those concepts?
Yeah, so I mean, with hunger, there's two ways of thinking about it. To be honest, you know, guys will get occasional hunger. I've not really had anything crazy, but with hunger, you do want to minimize it, right? Because it's going to make it easier. If you're hungry all the time, you're more likely to eat off plan, binge out on a bunch of shit, and not make any progress, feel guilty, right? So you do want to minimize it. But at the same time, it's not necessarily a bad thing. I think in today's society, it's kind of like, I'm hungry, I need to eat straight away. I can't experience any hunger whatsoever.
Yeah.
Like, right, get over yourself firstly. You ate about 4 hours ago. You're not going to fucking die, right? So the hunger can be a little bit of a signal that you're losing fat, mate. You're doing the right thing. Do you know what I mean? And especially towards the very end stages, if you're like 13% body fat coming in, closing in on phase one, mate, embrace that hunger. Be hungry for the next stage. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, you want to minimize it. You want to eat satiating foods. You want to eat enough protein. You want to potentially utilize things like intermittent fasting. Depends how you work individually. But don't be a pussy. Like, just because you've got a little bit of hunger, you start complaining.
It's uncomfortable, isn't it, bro? And again, people don't like being uncomfortable. So
yeah, that's what it is. You've hit the nail on the head. A little bit of discomfort. Like, that's what we're here for. We're here for discomfort. We're here to fucking challenge yourself and stop repeating the old bad habits where if you experience a little bit of hunger, you go and eat a full pack of biscuits. It's not what we're doing anymore. We're changing the way that you live, right? So two ways. Minimize it, but don't be scared of it.
And as a coach as well, going back to, you know, what everyone was talking about in this morning's meeting, which was, you know, how they would approach it. I think, again, I agree with all of those approaches can work, but again, it comes down to the individual. It's subjective to them, you know, like, and we pride ourselves at the start of the program as coaches that will meet the client where they're at. So, you know, like if someone currently they might train in the morning, but they eat before they train, I'm not going to instinctively straight off the bat going to be like, right, bro, we're going to start intermittent fasting. Like for me personally, for example, like I'm not a morning person. And if I train in the morning, if I've not eaten anything, Jamie said this, like I feel like weak as shit. I feel like my bones are creaking. Like, I'm just like got no strength whatsoever.
He's so just getting old.
Just a sign of my age, bro. But I just find like I need food in me, but that's down to me. That's like for my parents, for example, they train first thing. My dad goes to the gym first thing in the morning just off a coffee and won't eat anything until like lunchtime. I couldn't do that. So, but I think, yeah, it's down to the individual and what's going to work for them, really. Like all these things will work. But for me as a coach, I'm going to just basically set them off for what they would normally like to do. If that pops up as a struggle, then right, mate, we're going to try this, we're going to try that. I'm not someone to try and change someone's entire habits, you know, right from the get-go.
100%. Biofeedback is a huge part of the process where as coaches and clients, you trial things.
Trial and error, yeah.
You look at the results and then you continue to do it if it's working well, or you course correct if it's not going so well, right? If you're struggling with hunger in the morning or you train early in the morning, it depends. Do you know what I mean? With a lot of things in fitness, the answer is it depends. But it depends on the type of session that it is. It depends on you as an individual. Can you actually stomach food that early in the morning? And it also depends on calorie availability, right? If you on minimal calories, is it a good idea to have a bunch of them at fucking 5 a.m.? Probably not, because by the time 10 p.m. comes around, you're starving.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Kickstarting the appetite.
So it depends on so many factors, like a lot of things in fitness, and that's where an experienced coach helps you out. Do you know what I mean? Just takes out the guesswork.
Yeah. Right. We've gone over quite a bit there, bro, in terms of struggle. So hopefully people took a little bit of value and insight from that. The next thing I wanted to talk about was actually a little bit on your socials, bro, your content, because you're somebody as a coach that is one of the most active from the team, from my point of view, on Instagram. So I wanted to dive into, like, this might be a little bit more valuable for other coaches that maybe struggle with some content creation, or even, and if there's any business owners, or people that work in marketing. Because, a lot of the content that you put out, it's not only like the quantity that you put it out, but it also provides value, which is a big thing. And that's something like that, for me personally, I'm always thinking, right, does this content actually provide value to like the person that potentially that I'm trying to target? I don't just want to put out content for the sake of putting out content when it could just be ass cheeks. Do you know what I mean?
Ash cheeks.
Excuse the pun. So what's your process behind it, Danny?
Mate, I'm like a vegan, aren't I? I'm just fucking throwing information out there in your face.
Yeah, bro. Literally.
Even if you don't want it.
Yeah.
I'm joking. I actually used to eat a vegan diet, so no offense to any of the people watching. But content is super important, because I'm not a master at it, but I'm trying, and it's because that's how you're going to get seen as a coach. You want to work with people. People have got to fucking know you, and they've got to know a little bit of shit. Yeah, you know what you're talking about a little bit. So providing that value as much as possible and trying to get seen is so important to our business as coaches in Physique Academy, right? If no one knew about us, we don't have any fucking clients, are we? So it's just as important as any other part of the job.
It's also satisfying as well to know that, again, it's not just bullshit. You're actually helping somebody. Like, I had a post recently that I got more saves than likes, and then that's reassuring to me to know that not only people will come back to my page or the Physique Academy page, but people are saving it because it's something that they can take away and actually apply to their lives, even if they're not part of the program. And then that, again, like if we're looking at signing guys up to the program, that's like where it starts from the funnel, and then they might reach out, and then you get on a call and they sign up to the program, all that sort of stuff. But I find it quite reassuring, for like sometimes like if I'm demotivated, because it's a big part of like our business, but sometimes I feel as though it can be unforeseen, like as a coach, it's something that you maybe put a little bit lower on your priority list because you're trying to take care of your current clients. But yeah, do you like batch work with prepping videos?
It depends, to be honest. Depends on the week. Depends how I feel. But regardless, I'll get something out there. That's my non-negotiable. Do you know what I mean? Some weeks I'm super prepared. I'm ahead of schedule. I'll batch it. I'll have everything ready. I'm super organized. Sometimes I'll just do it on the fly. But I will get something out there. Right? And it is important to distinguish, I'm not a content creator. I'm a coach. But in order to be a coach, I have to do that. That's part of the job.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, actually. Like, do you think there's a lot of pressure for like coaches to be content creators, because sometimes you can, like, it's how you come across, isn't it? Like, some people might come across too cringe or too clickbaity, like, here are the top 3 ways to lose body fat, or like lose love handle. Again, they're just trying to get people to engage and get more views and follows with the page, and some people might just not feel comfortable with doing that. So it is a bit of a mindset shift especially when you're not used to doing it, or if you're a little bit older, as like younger guys that have been in the industry for a long time, like making that transition is relatively straightforward. If you've got enough self-confidence in yourself and like confidence in knowing what you're talking about, then it's not too bad. But it is a bit of a mindset shift, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, why are you a coach? It's to help guys get in shape. You can do that through content as well. Obviously we're doing it through the program, right? Which is an amazingly valuable thing. But not everyone's going to have access to the program, right? So you can continue to do your job, the thing you're passionate about, but in different ways, right? You can put some value out there. You don't have to be cringy. You don't have to be entertaining, but you can post some value and help someone out. You know, it might be a kid like who's 15 years old, like we was, just getting into the gym, wants to know what to actually fucking do. I didn't have a clue. I just went on every single machine once around the whole gym, around the perimeter.
Once, yeah.
Just did like a couple of reps, like, and that was it. I didn't have a fucking clue because, you know, 10 years ago, there was good information and I was just at the start of the journey of researching and getting the information out there. But you know, it's, if you want to be a coach, you want to help people get in shape, it's another avenue that you can do that.
Mm-hmm. I think originality is staying true to yourself is a big thing as well, because you know there is a lot of crap out there at the same time, and on social media with like I was saying, like the next best workout to target love handles, which there isn't one.
Well, yeah,
and stuff like that, you know. So
it's attention, innit? Like you know, there's a lot of bullshit out there, but it's all to do with attention, and you know, there's a lot of good business people out there who get the attention and they are content creators posing as coaches, and then maybe they've got tons of followers, they've got loads of people signing up to their program, whatever it is, or their ebook, but it's a bunch of shite once you actually start it, right? Because they are a content creator first and a coach second, whereas us, we're coaches first, content creators second.
Yeah, 100%. But and that's the distinguishing thing. It's like that's like staying in the fitness industry, in my opinion, because you'll have someone that might go to one of these guys that again is more focused on content creation and volume of people getting the rebook or something. The rebook's crap and full of shit, and then someone buys that, and then that might be their first initial impression of coaching, when that's not real coaching. You know, that's like, again, that's why we're coaches over content creation. But yeah, I find it is staying in like social media. It's got its positives, you know, because we wouldn't be in the position that we are without it, but it has also got its negatives for like just the industry as a whole, I find. And
it's the misinformation, isn't it? And sometimes it can be dangerous. You know, influencers, so-called influencers, have influence, whether you like the term or not, right? And if they're putting out dangerous information or promoting, you know, disordered eating, there's gonna be people out there who follow it and it impacts them in a negative way, right? So you do have to be careful, but at the end of the day, you've got to be fucking smart enough to sift through it. You know, if you see a load of bollocks online, just fucking move on from it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's in the human nature to want the next best thing, the next iPhone. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just come out, everyone's excited about it. It's the same with workouts and getting in shape. Everyone wants the next pill, the next Monjaro. Do you know what I mean? Like, no one wants to do the fucking real work.
Again, going back to the basics, bro.
Literally. Nail the basics consistently. Do the boring shit.
Yeah.
Do you want to get in shape or not? It's a simple question.
With young people today, again, with social media and the society that we live in, it's all a dopamine rush, bro. It's like the next hit of dopamine. That's why it's just 10, 15 second clips of swipe.
Yeah.
And that's what, like, because it's like people are getting overstimulated on too much dopamine. So then, again, the boring shit it's too far gone.
It's super boring.
Yeah, it's not just boring, bro. Now it's just like, it's impossible for some people.
Well, everyone's got ADHD these days, don't they? No one can concentrate on anything. No one can focus. And social media probably does have a massive impact on it. You know, there was that documentary, weren't there, on Netflix that kind of went deep into the background of it and how they get you to stay on the platform so much.
It's actually mad that when you actually look at like the algorithm.
It is mad,
bro. It's like its own entity, bro. Like, it's like, you don't think it's targeting you, but it is. Like, we could be talking about like Ozempic as a supplement, and then it'll pop up in my Facebook ads later today. I'm like, it's like your phone's listening to you.
Might get shredded. Yeah. Add to basket.
Yeah. Speaking of quick fixes. Oh god. But yeah, bro. Let's move on now to your current training and nutrition. You're gone more into high rocks now, aren't you?
Well, to be honest, I've actually faded out of it.
Faded out.
No. 2024 was high rocks. Yeah. And to be honest, that was because I didn't like running by itself. I did like CrossFit, but I didn't like all the high technical skill stuff like snatches. It just requires a lot of patience to nail the skill, and I just wanted to fucking grind and work hard. So High Rocks was a little bit of a cross between both of them, and it kind of suited me well at the time. And I enjoyed it. The events are really good. You know, it is fun. It's a good community. You push yourself a hell of a lot. Like some of the High Rocks workouts that I've done are the hardest workouts I've ever done, like throwing up and that. And it's good to get out your comfort zone and not only push yourself physically, but mentally, to push yourself to that much physical difficulty where you're throwing up. It's the same mentally, you know, it's in your head, like, go on, slow down a little bit. But if you've got an event coming up, you can't. And that's what I think is so good about events, is it just really holds you accountable to the training. You either show up to the training or you're going to look like a fucking idiot on the day. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, now I'm trying to get stronger, trying to get bigger.
Yeah, I've got to say, I saw on your socials you were focusing on like a bit of a reverse diet at the moment. You're still in that phase.
Yeah, so, mate, the thing with me, right, is I'm pretty tall. I should be heavier than what I am. I want to be heavier. I want to be stronger. I want to have more muscle mass. But I can never commit to a true fucking bulk because I always have a holiday coming up and I want to stay lean. I want to stay six pack ready.
You're scared of getting too much fluff,
so I'm scared of it, mate.
I used to be like that, bro. If you remember when we were in Tenerife, that was like when I was right in the middle of a bulk, and I'd actually got a little, I was still relatively
I thought I should put on a few.
Yeah, fat bastard.
Yeah. So you doing it?
Yeah, bro. But that's just something, if you're doing like a bit of a reverse diet, you know, like you can keep it as lean as possible, but you do just have to sacrifice a little bit of fluff. As long as, you know, you've got faith in yourself that, you know, you can come back down out of that, then, you know, you just have to sacrifice that, don't you?
Yeah, of course, mate, of course. And I've sort of had a period from mid-July, came back from Greece, all right. I was in okay shape, I was in good nick. And then my plan was to lean bulk, gain some strength, gain some size. I did gain 5 kilos, right? But now I'm 10 weeks out from my next holiday, which is Dubai, start of December, with a bunch of us. There's like 8-10 of us going. So I want to be in fucking couples trip, and I want to be in good shape. Do you know what I mean? I want to show up fucking shredded, especially in the middle of winter, you know, when everyone else is putting some punch on. So yeah, it's a tough one, mate. Otherwise I could just fully commit to a really long steady gain, but I just that's the one struggle of mine, committing to a true bulk. I'm fat phobic. I'm just scared of getting fat.
Well, I think once you've sort of like gained a little bit of fluff before, you never want to see that again. I had a conversation with one of my mates recently, and he used to be like a little bit more overweight, and he shredded down, got really lean, and he again started the reverse diet and has put a little bit too much on than he anticipated it. But it's like, it's funny because everyone thinks, you know, once you start to get in shape, they rub themselves, you know, they only care about themselves. But you actually become more body dysmorphic the more you get into the gym. I find, you know, the more that you're focusing on getting healthier and getting leaner, that you start to notice like little cracks about yourself of what it is you need to improve, or like if you're gaining too much body fat, which is interesting because like then you'll have like people that are like way out of shape that just don't give a shit.
Shout out to them, fair enough. You know, at the end of the day,
that is one thing that I'm envious about of people that are a bit more fat.
Yeah, but you know what? Credit to them if they feel confident in themselves and they're happy. But at the end of the day, can you really be truly confident and happy in yourself when you're unhealthy? At the end of the day, even if you feel that way, there is still benefits to you dropping that body fat and getting healthy for your family. Do you know what I mean? You might be a dad, a brother, an uncle. You want to be around for them. You want to be able to do shit with them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm an uncle. I'm not a dad. I'm an uncle. I have a 6-year-old nephew, and he's like my little brother. See him all the time. He's sick. I love him. And I want to be an inspiration for him. I want to be a good role model. You know, at 4 years old, he was begging to come on a run with me. He was like, please, come on, let's go on a run. At 4 years old, he only just learned how to fucking walk. Do you know what I mean? Like yesterday. And he did. He came on a 3K run with me, mate. It took us a while. But he came on a 3K. He put a vest on. And he came on a 3K run around this big
running vest for 4-year-olds, bro.
he had the glasses and everything, running vest. No, he didn't really, but...
Fair play, man.
Seeing that, and he does push-ups, he does little bicep curls with these tiny dumbbells, and it's just amazing to see that you have that impact.
Arnie then, bro. By like 12, he should be jacked.
Don't worry about it. It's coming.
Is there anything underrated, like training-wise or for nutrition, that a lot of people overlook? But when you're talking like training methods, I'm thinking, you know, just things that can, like little bite-sized bits of info that can help people either with like food prep, you know, if they're doing like 4 days straight, then 3 days rather than doing the full week in the gym, focusing on tempo and execution.
Consistency. Consistency. That's the key word. Right, there's no sort of little hidden gems that are going to help you out right now other than staying more consistent. Do you know what I mean? If you're struggling to stay in shape, it's because you're not consistent enough. You yo-yo. Sometimes you're in shape, sometimes you get out of shape, sometimes you go to the gym, sometimes you're off the gym. It's not how it works. Right, consistency is the most important thing, because without that you have nothing else. Right, you could be taking all the supplements, have the perfect program, whatever, but if you don't actually stick to it, you don't do it enough, it's bollocks. Do you know what I mean? So being as consistent as possible is the best message that I can put out there. Cool.
And with like sorry, I'm just switching up a little bit. I did want to speak today a little bit about, you know, like, again, you're talking about consistency and the staples, the fundamentals, which comes down to, again, just like the fundamentals that you need to stick to. But when we're talking about like training, nutrition, there's a lot of people out there now that are either very science-based or very much focused just on effort, all effort, no ego, intensity. Where's your sort of standpoint on that? Because for me as a coach, I would say I'm like a 50-50 split. Like, from like sports science and like university, I'm like a 50-50 split of, right, you know, this is your volume, this should be your reps in reserve, you know, we're not really going to focus on like anything like linear periodization, because I just don't believe in that, you know, again, like looking at like progressing intensity over the course of like a macro cycle of 12 weeks. I've tried it. I don't believe in it. There's just certain things that I'm like, I'm using my logic here. I want people to train with intent, and like things like periodizations don't really do that. But then you've got like a lot of guys on social media that are just like, they are solely focused on science-based lifting. I
think people want to belong to a community, don't they? And going back to High Rocks, they want to be part of something. Right, and that's why people always just dive way too far off the deep end in a certain subject. With most people, it's a blend between the two, right? Of course, you've got to have a smart training program that is actually going to progress you, you know, get you better and take into consideration a variety of factors, right? But you've also got to enjoy it, because if you don't, you're not going to do it. It don't matter. Do you know what I mean? So you have to have the blend between two. Something that makes sense on paper, but something that also makes sense in application.
Yeah.
You do it, you progress, you enjoy it, even if it's slightly less optimal. That then makes it more optimal because you can stick to it. Do you know what I mean? So the word optimal itself, it doesn't mean anything. It depends on so many things. So in terms of like science-based or just like pure old school raw, blend of both worlds, mate. The best of both worlds. They're both sick. Do you know what I mean? Like diving deep into the science and really finding out how biology works. And then also just that fucking old school vibe, you know, just like grunt work, clanging and banging. That's what you love. Do you know, that's what brings a smile to your face.
That's what I love. And that's why like I'm like a mix of both, because I appreciate the science of a lot of those sort of things. But then at the end of the day, the clients come to us because they trust us. Like might go over like some bits of like science with clients and stuff. So like, again, a bit like an educational process, but I'm not like going into like proper like biomechanical and sports science and stuff with all my clients, because they don't need it. Like they've come to you to trust you as a coach. Like they just need to know like how much volume and what sort of training program works for them, what they sort of need to aim for. And like, to be fair, like towards the back end of like a phase 2, if I've got someone that I've worked with for like over a year and they're leaving the program, I'll do like a bit of a workshop with that individual on like a Zoom call to go over like, right, this is like how, you know, you can work out like your adaptive recoverable volume, your maximum recoverable volume. This is how to use like the Harris-Benedict equation or Schofield equation to work out your deficit or your maintenance calories and all that sort of stuff. So then again, it's like an educational process, but really, you know, like the clients don't really care a lot of the time.
Well, yeah, it's important. So again, going back to where I said, you know, I'm not a professional athlete. The guys that we work with are normal guys, right? They don't need to build their life around a specific thing, right? Diving so far into the deep end on it. If they're interested in it, fair enough, right? But if you just want the result, you want to get in great shape, you want to live healthy, be fit, be strong, feel good, then challenge is what matters, right? Are you pushing yourself? Are you actually progressing in the gym? And are you enjoying it? And it goes back to consistency, right? So to give you an example, when I used to work in Pure Gym, this was one of the top 3 busiest gyms in the UK, by the way. It had over 8,000 members, okay? I would be there 6 a.m. every day. I'd be there until 9 p.m., 10 p.m. every night. And I saw the same faces, right? They were in shape. And the reason they were in shape is because they were there every day. They were there every week, right? They all train in different ways. They all eat different diets. They have a different training program. It's not just like one size fits everyone. Do you know what I mean? But despite them training in different ways, they were equally in shape. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? So consistency, it's the key word. That's what matters the most, right? So you can dive deep into science. I love science. It's interesting, right? I absolutely love it. But to overwhelm someone and go too far off into that deep end, you're just a fucking nerd then. Do you know what I mean? You're a boring bastard.
Yeah.
You're going to miss some of that raw clanging and banging, like you say. Mm-hmm. You know, some of that old school vibe. Mm-hmm. Bring some fun to it.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think the future for like our job holds in the next few years? Do you think, you know, there's ways for like our business to progress? Do you think there's going to be more AI or tech integration? You know, what do you think the future, not just for yourself, but just Physique Academy as a whole holds?
Mate, it's a big question, to be honest. I think there's going to be a split with the rise of AI and the digital world. There's going to be a split where everything becomes so AI and robotic. People get fed up of it at that point, and then they're going to circle back to that human element again, right? And then there'll be a happy medium between the two, right? And I was actually listening to a podcast yesterday. I forgot I think it's Daniel Priestley. I think that's his name.
Oh yeah.
And he was talking about AI, and he was talking about AI in companies, it should be the 80%, it should build the cake, right? A sponge cake.
Yep.
But the people should add that personalization on top of it. So let's say you go Costco, you get a cake for your birthday, you have a message on top of it, right? The AI can build the sponge cake. It's the same for everyone. It's just boring, bland sponge cake. But it's the people that then go on top, write the message, write the name, and give it that little bit more value, you know, and refine it a little bit. So yeah, you know, it's definitely should be used. It's a no-brainer because it's going to make things quick. It's going to make things easy. But do people want to live in a world where everything's just taken over by robots and technology? No, people love people. They love the human element. They love the community aspect. Mm-hmm. As I was saying before, people want to belong to something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's going to go one way, all out AI, all out robotic, and then it's going to circle back and then come to a happy blend between the two.
Yeah, because people are going to realise again with AI, it can tell you how to do something in one sense, but then things adapt and change if you can't stick to it. And that's where like that human touch comes into play, or again, like belonging to something. That's why we've got like the summits and the meetups in the brand in Physique Academy, because that's what it's all about, isn't it?
When it comes to the guys we want to work with, if they think they can use AI, they're kidding themselves. And the reason why is because that information was already out there. Mm-hmm. It was on Google, it was on YouTube. Just because it's now on ChatGPT doesn't matter. You know, it was already out there, that information, but you've not achieved the result yet. And it's because of what I said at the start of this, self-accountability. Yeah, they don't have it.
Yeah.
And I think the pressure we put on people to get in shape is the biggest thing. Pressure is probably the wrong word to use, but for me, I have the mentality, if you're on my team, you're getting in shape. You've got no other choice. Do you know what I mean? And I think just having that little bit of pressure, that little bit of accountability from me is what actually gets them in shape. It's not that they've got the best workout program in the world, which they do, by the way.
It's like you're letting someone down.
But that's not the reason why they've got in shape. It's that accountability. They've got someone there in their ear. AI won't do that, right? Until there's fucking, you know, indistinguishable humanoids where I can't even tell if you're a real person or not. Maybe at that point, but I think we're probably a few years away. At that point,
I'll just be going into derealization, bro. What's real or nothing, bro? Like, it's gonna blag my head. Yeah. But no, I completely agree, bro. You know, again, it comes to always circles back around to self accountability and just the coach that you're working with. Again, it's the blueprint that we provide, but you know, again, you can find that anywhere. You know, like when it's not like we're creating something magic, you know. Again, it's just principles of, again, it's bespoke and personalized and tailored to that individual based off their background, their body weight and metrics and stuff. Well, then that's the simple part.
What's the word? It's programmed to be in favor of you, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's supposed to agree with you, which is the total opposite thing you want from a coach. You want someone who calls you out on your bullshit. You want someone who tells you the truth, no matter how hard that truth is to tell. You know, someone who's just brutally honest with you. That has to be the case. Otherwise, you're doing that person a disservice. You're holding things back, right? Even if it offends you or it hits a nerve, it's what you want deep down. That's why you joined us.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And AI, for example, it's not going to do that. It's programmed to agree with you.
Yeah, and sort of speaking on that, George, he posted a story the other day saying, like, you know, one of the hardest things about coaching, I went over this with Tyler, is like the dark side of coaching, or the bad side of coaching.
I watched Tyler's, yeah.
Yeah, like the some of the tough conversations to have with people. Like when someone comes to me, you know, I see my clients as friends and acquaintances over a working relationship, but really you've not joined the program for a friend. You've joined the program, again, for that self-accountability and someone to tell you the hard truth. Some people can take it and acknowledge it and recognize that, you know, we're just doing our job. But then some people are just going to like then flip out, call you all sorts of names and leave on bad terms. But then, you know, as coaches, you've got to have that self-respect, you know, because I don't think of myself as a horrible person, but that's just me doing my job. Sometimes you just have to say the right things, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Have you ever had that yourself?
So one memory that I hold with me, because I love it, is when a client of mine, Lance, shout out Lance, sick guy, he said to me, he absolutely loves the program and me as a coach, because he feels like we're two mates at a bar, in a pub, having a pint, talking to each other. It's just that I'm helping him get in amazing shape. Yeah. And at the end of the day, that's how I like to be, you know, rather than confrontational like this, side by side, we're in it together. Do you know what I mean? But whether I'm a mate or your coach, I'm still going to call you out on bullshit. That's just how I am as a person. All my mates will know that. They'll know that. I don't sugarcoat things, you know. I say the things that people are scared to say.
Yeah.
You've got to be real. And yeah, you know, there's always that unspoken thing that you know deep down, so you may as well just fucking get it out in the open and talk about it. Some people need telling. So that's why they joined us. Mm-hmm. You know, if I joined a coach, I would want him to tell me straight. regardless. If I'm not doing good enough, just fucking look in my eyes and say, Danny, you're not doing good enough right now.
Danny, you a dick. You're being a dick, bro. Stop being a dick to yourself.
Yeah, I would have that openness, that drop of the ego and say, you're absolutely right. Help me do better. How can I do better? Show me the way. That's what a coach does.
And the key thing you've said there, bro, is ego. As men, you know, some guys just have too much ego. They just can't accept the hard reality. But then it's like, again, you know, right, fine, go and see if you can do it yourself. And if you don't want to listen, you know, to someone that's trustworthy in the industry, what they have to say.
Well, yeah, not everyone's going to get six-pack shredded. They're not. It's not going to work for absolutely everybody. That's just not reality, right? And listen. Stop thinking you know everything. You don't, right? And that's the best advice I could give to any client on board or potential client coming on board. Just be an open book. Just listen and do what you're told. You can ask reasons why. You know,
Pull up and shut up.
like you can ask reasons like, why are we doing this? That's important. So you gain the understanding.
Oh, yeah.
You know the benefits, because if you understand it properly, you're gonna do it better and you're gonna be able to do it in the future, right, by yourself. But yeah, just stop thinking you know everything. You don't.
All right, brother. Well, I know we've been speaking for over an hour now. Time is coming to a close, bro. So quick fire, as always, to wrap up. 1 sentence answers, bro, yeah?
Okay.
Morning or evening training?
All day. Both.
1 book or podcast you'd recommend?
Gratitude diary.
Okay, and why?
People need to be more grateful.
If you could give your younger self 1 coaching tip, what do you think it would be?
Bulk.
1 rule of life you live by?
Ooh. Fucking enjoy every day, mate.
Take each day as they come. Is there anything else, bro, you want to just add for words of wisdom before we wrap up? Putting you on the spot there, bro.
Yeah, let's go for it. All right. Is this my camera?
That's your camera over there.
Sign up to the program. Get in the best shape of your life. Stop doubting yourself. Stop putting it off. Right? We're mid-September. Next summer is going to come around so fucking quick. Stop faffing about.
There you have it from the horse's mouth. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching this episode of the Physique Academy podcast. My next guest is actually going to be a special coming out in a few weeks, but until then, take care and peace. Respect, brother.
That was class.
Find it all right, yeah?
Yeah, man. Mate, I'm ready to go again, mate.